Hello, 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 loyal listeners, new listeners, gays everywhere, fashionistas. Welcome to another episode of That Little Gay Talk Show.
This
Pinky is here with my co-host and cohorts. Cohorts. I think there's
cohort and then a cohort.
Fair enough. We've got one of each.
Okay. We've got one of each.
And she's got note cards. Lord, I feel unprepared.
We're gonna have some fun on this show today. Oh, by the way, that bitch was just stalling until I got back over here. So y'all know that I usually introduce the show. But,
I'm debilitatingly shy.
But yeah, that bitch had to stall while I had to push a button. So there we go. Welcome. That Little Gay Talk Show is now on the air. We're ready to get going. We're going to have some interesting conversations today.
Awesome.
We're going to talk about some gay news, some gay talk.
Well, before we get there, let's let everyone know who's here. So,
oh Lord,
to my left, your right.
My right, your left.
Carlos
Villegas. In the house.
CV Photography on Instagram.
Yes. CV Photography 0. And on Facebook, just my name, Carlos Villegas.
Just looking snazzy
and then
over here.
We've got to my right, your left.
Sing the song, bitches.
David White.
Hola.
It's traditional greeting.
¿Estás tratando de hablar español?
I'm going to introduce, next time you're here, I'm going to introduce you as
David Blanco. David Blanco.
I mean, hell, if Biscuit is going by Elliot now.
Biscuit wasn't feeling well this week, so we said, bitch, stay at home. We don't
She's getting her stomach pumped. She had a baby spice weekend.
He changes nicknames more than he changes underwear. I need him to stop with that because I can't keep up with it.
Changing underwear or changing nicknames?
Changing underwear. Shit.
I hope he changes underwear. I think we talked about that in an episode not too long ago.
I only wear them if I know somebody's going to see them.
You don't even wear underwear.
Unless somebody's going to see
one
them.
Today.
And then I leave them at their place, generally.
Not true.
Is that on purpose? Do you want them to remember you?
Duh.
Or do you want them to do your laundry? Is that what you...
No, it works to a purpose. Because if they have a boyfriend, I don't leave them, obviously. I generally, there was one person that, stretched the pair over his camera, or his computer monitor.
Camera? Ooh.
Yeah, right? I didn't put them on the camera, but I did put them on, this computer monitor that was in the corner of the room. So, when his mom were to clean the room or
his mom? Who you?
His mom?
His mom?
How old is this guy?
He's 24.
Oh.
23.
Oh, well,
today
that's not unusual.
We definitely need to talk about
I'll kick them under the bed or somewhere I know their boyfriend or whoever is gonna find them, their wife.
Eventually, one of my questions today is gonna be what has been your youngest and what has been your oldest, and we'll go from there. But not.
We're gonna get to that in group chat in the second half of the show.
Ooh, I'm not gonna be here.
Oh, that's right.
That's
right. Are you taking?
You'll just have to catch it.
Yeah, you'll have to catch up, girl.
I will. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Damn finger.
Right.
Oh, he hurt his finger in a masturbation accident.
Yeah, I was fucking my table saw. And apparently no means no.
With the finger.
Oh, no, the exhaust pipe is, no means no, apparently.
So your buzzsaw joined the Me Too movement, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and it got me.
It got you.
It got you. Got you too, huh?
If I come up with a catchy YouTube song right about now, that'd be great. But the ringing in my finger every time I had to be my masturbating hand,
So Carlos, why do you have to take off in the second half of the show?
Well, the reason being is I have an art show tomorrow, which is going to be held at the AIG Tower, and I will be giving you the address in a minute. So it's going to be at 4 p.m. at 2929 Allen Parkway. And so I'm going to be there from 4 till around 7. And it's their annual show, so you're going to see a bunch of different things. Of course, mostly paintings, and possibly I may be the only actually photographer there, but there may be one or two. Now, I will be offering $10 headshots. If you want to take your headshot, it's digital. I will email it to you once I do some editing on it. And if you want to buy some packages, of course, you're more than welcome to, at that point in time, figure out what you want, and I'll help you. So I do need to get ready for that because we're actually having to prep early, and I can't get off of work early enough. My niece is going to get everything ready for me.
Okay.
And so I need to tell her how to put everything together. And also because my panels were not done on time yesterday. Miss Pinky.
Miss Pinky was building them, and
she decided to
a jobby nooner with the table saw.
Yes. So that's why we were a little late today. Actually, Miss Pinky was doing my panels where I'm going to be hanging my artwork.
I figured that's what he showed me the pictures, and I figured that's what it was for. So
Yes,
I'm like,
that's what it was.
okay.
They're very cleverly put up. You're gonna have people ask about them. I guarantee you. They're rustic looking, and they're kind of like.
Sure.
They're a little bit rougher than I would like them to be. I would be the first to admit. And
Yes,
So
I
is
didn't notice that. But I'll let it slide because of your finger. Otherwise, I would be like, no, bitch.
Is this your contribution to an art show? Have you
Polish
signed these panels?
I have not. I have not. I'm working on getting a brand made, like a cattle brand. That's just like my P, but it's like done Avengers style. So it's just like this neon-looking P with a circle around it, like Stark.
Okay.
Okay.
In pink, right?
Pink.
In pink.
No, it'll be just burn in black.
Interesting.
I don't know how to burn
Interesting.
in pink.
Red.
I'm sure we can invent a process that allows.
We sure can.
I am so running out of free time these days with divorce and court and
Nature.
getting a DWI.
Fucking
and
him up.
Cutting your finger off.
every morning I wake up and karma's, the universe is rolling over and like, guess what? No more lube today either. And just fucking giving it to me every morning. Thank you, universe.
His September has not been the best.
That's the fucking understatement of fucking
We
2019.
need September to be over
That
with.
is true.
We
That was
need
just
September
2019.
because I swear to God, I'm gonna get a call next week saying this bitch is dead. I'm like, could she at least
No,
make it
don't say
until?
that.
October 1st?
Could she at least make it to October 1st? God
What's so
damn.
crazy is like since I was in my very, very early 20s, late teens, I guess, late 18, 19, I just got this idea that I was not going to make it past 35.
You know, a lot of people
How old
say.
are you now?
A lot of queens say that.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
I've heard that a lot from a lot of queens. I don't know why.
30, I'll be 34 this
You
year.
don't know how old you are.
Okay, then I'm gonna
That's
buy
the
you.
kind of
to think
September
about
I
it.
had in here.
You have to think about how old you are.
I'm
That's how
going
much it is.
to. I'm going to buy you some insurance and make sure you put me as the beneficiary, please. Since you're planning on dying next year. And it's funny that you say that because I plan to outlive every fucking body.
God, I
I'm
hope
leaving
so.
till I'm fucking old, like maybe 100.
But no, I mean 147 is quite old enough.
I'll be old.
I've had more than my fair share of virgins.
More than your fair share.
Yeah.
Oh, I tend to stay away from virgins.
The
Don't-
net-
Well, I don't know that I've
Virgins make
ever.
the best faces.
I tend not to
I'm not
like.
sure if I've ever had one or not.
I'm not looking for an entry level position. I want a professional. So
oh,
no, thank you. No, thank you.
There's
Virgins
nothing
are
like
nice.
There's nothing quite like the ego boost you get from the face that a virgin makes.
I don't.
Every single time, like you're splitting them in two. It's just.
I don't understand what deflowering a virgin
I used to live in a
is. Why
college
it's such a
town,
big
so-
deal among men. And when I say men, I mean men in general. I don't mean just gay men. I mean men in general.
No minute.
Why is that such
Have
a
you ever
big
been
deal?
the first person somewhere?
I have been the first. Let me tell you something about my virginity. I just wanted to get it over with, so I did it with the first person who came along, just so I can get it over with.
Have you ever wondered why that might be something to do with why men on the bus flash their penis?
Go around.
And yet it's still happening, and I don't understand. I'm too old for all
Did
of
you ever
this.
take that ad down? They were saying, I'm not a virgin
There
anymore.
are cameras.
Quit calling.
Thanks to Homeland Security, there are cameras on the bus. Don't do that. Do not do that, and do not have your penis end up on social media. You don't want that.
Let me tell you, I think my first time was kind of my real first time as an adult, if you will.
Ooh, I don't.
It was just not. Pleasant.
We don't want to hear about your first time as a child.
But as a child,
Not that
it
kind
was
of show,
actually
man.
really fun. Because I was actually not abused at all. But my first time was, I think I was like maybe 8 or 9, and it's a lot of fun. Hey, it is what it is. Shout out to my cousin. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bleep.
Moving on. So,
Hey,
So
man,
I
for
can't-
cousin love. Right. I wish I had it.
Why is it always the cousin?
Because you're the only one.
Why is
well,
it
we
the
were
only
wrestling,
cousin?
and out of nowhere, we
None of my
just started
cousins
having
were
a child.
attractive enough to even
you pee
think
together,
about
like,
it.
They make when you're a kid. There's just something about being a kid that like you have to go to the bathroom with another kid. Like, and I was like, oh.
Well, and it's funny because he was 15. He was not just necessarily a little kid, but
That's crime.
no, it was not.
I think it's still statutory.
This was back in the day when I was, 8, 9. Anyways, and he was not the
Don't
only
look him
cousin.
up on
anyways.
Edit.
Edit.
And
This
then
is
there was like 2 or 3 other cousins
Filter.
later. But anyways,
Oh, Lord.
How many cousins
She
did you
just
go
beating up the whole
through?
I
family
have
tree.
a whole
Lord.
bunch of
Just
family
hacking up the
members.
bushes.
But it's not my fault.
You know,
I
you
was
just literally advertised
cute,
your art
and I am
exhibit for tomorrow.
still-
People are going to be showing up just to talk to
You're
you.
chubby.
One of your cousins are going to be showing you tomorrow.
Beat your
Yes,
They
exactly.
can't cross the border. Anyways, so before I forget, I do have another art show, which is on October the 5th at the Aurora Studio and Gallery. That it's on 129 Aurora Street, zip code 77008. It is $12, but there's going to be open bar, food, live music, and of course, yours truly.
Well, I think I'm going to dress for that
Coming
one.
over.
That sounds cute. I think I'm going to get, I need a cute hat. That's what I need. I need a
Yes.
cute hat for that
Yes,
one.
please. And
David White and I are
if
going to
you-
go out and look for a hat.
Oh, no, I've got a hat for you.
You can either buy tickets at the door or you can call me at 713-530-8383 and I will personally deliver the tickets.
All of those cousins looking for a way to reach
And
over
of course,
the border.
since y'all have my number, I do not mind unsolicited pictures.
Dick pics.
It's all about the dick pics.
Dick pics.
Make sure you're packing because otherwise...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's nothing worse than getting...
Don't bring that yo dick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not a size queen.
Right.
I'm not a size queen, but
Really? Because
You
you,
know, it is
just
what
said. I mean, literally, like, just
well, no. Actually, I do. My whole thing is not about how big it is. Is do you know how to use it properly? That's all that really is. But in a perfect rule, it would be like I would.
He's 5'5", y'all. So
I'm
you
5'5".
don't necessarily have to be packing.
True, and so the thing is this:
Average will hit the boy button.
if you ask any man, whether it's gay or straight, they're gonna tell you the bigger you can have it, the better. It's not necessarily
That only refers to
functional.
BMI when you're talking
Because
to me.
if you ask me how big I wish mine was, maybe 1.5 foot, and maybe like
a foot and
an
a half.
inch.
What the fuck would you do with
You
that?
never want to
thick.
have sex ever again?
But
Like,
again, that is not
Over your
functional.
shoulder and burp it like a
Like a-
turkey?
like a
Again,
continental soldier?
It's not
with that?
functional. But if
Oh,
you ask
so
me
like
if I could
continental
have my
soldier.
wish, then it would be like that.
Does you
But
get
in reality, it's
low?
not that. And of course, if it were to be that big, it would be non-functional. Like everybody will run away
I was
from
like,
me.
what would you
You
do
would
with
just
that?
pass out when it got hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're
True.
getting blood.
I have heard...
Oh, wait. I can't feel my leg.
my
My dick
friend
is hard.
many years ago told me a story of him in middle
Talk about a
school,
tripod.
and one of the
God.
kids in middle school had a very large penis. So large, in fact, that yes, when it did get hard, he did pass out a couple of times.
What?
I mean, it was
When
huge.
you're that little, I bet your
It was
little
huge.
heart
He was
can't
like
even
middle
keep up.
school,
Yeah.
and it was like embarrassed. He was embarrassed by it. And I would be too. I mean, come on, it's.
I mean, where are you going to hide that in? Not your gym shorts.
That's too much. All right.
You got a tube sock full of tennis balls.
Mhm.
Like, at that point, they just make fun of you. And then when they get to high school, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
Because they all went through puberty, and it's still not as big as it was back then. Like,
Now, I did have an ex that when,
yeah, that's what you get for juicing there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
You might be the quarterback, but she's still coming my way.
and talking about, huge members, I had, one of my exes, when I first met him, of course he was dating not just me, but other people. And he went on a date with this guy that his penis was so big, he actually ran out of his house. And he was like, I cannot survive that. So he just left, and that shows that,
Wait, what happened? You ran out of his house?
No. My ex was, at that point in time,
this
we
other guy
were not serious yet. Yeah, so...
You guys were still game show dating.
Yeah, we both were. And so he went out with this guy who had a huge member.
I'm sorry. Did you literally just leave your phone on, bitch? First of all, can I say this? I don't want to interrupt your story, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But you are.
But I have never heard his phone ring ever. I didn't even think millennials took phone calls. I honestly did.
He takes calls of booty calls, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think so. I can hear his voice now. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Can I come over for a little play? You looking good, girl. Got that ass working. Mm-hmm.
This is Pinky talking, or the guy on the other end?
No, this is Pinky talking. No, this is Pinky talking. That's how I see him talking on the phone to a booty call, because I think it would be hilarious to hear his deep voice. Hey, baby, what's going on? How you doing?
He doesn't talk about
This is Pinky.
Yeah, it's Pinky. I said it's Pinky.
No, my voice
Joel,
is always
I can tell that it's all in your imagination, because he does not do that.
Mm-hmm.
None of us know what he does.
None of us know what he
place,
exactly.
So it's
He can go butch, just like that.
Pinky.
How many times have you known gay men to go butch all of a sudden when they were the biggest queens on the planet when you first met them?
Sure,
that
does happen.
And how many butch guys be the first ones to drop their panties?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing funnier than watching the butchest man try to toss to you at the bar. You get him home, you're having a good time, and he's, hey, I was hanging out with you, and I really thought that you were all that. And oh, really? That's so sweet. Thank you. When we head to the bedroom and you and I get down, ooh, this is gonna be nice.
He sounds like he's got a big dick.
And I know. And then the first thing he does, as soon as he lays in bed, legs up in the air, and you're like, God damn it.
Another one.
I really just wanted to get fucked this evening. Now I got to do the fucking, which I don't mind doing, because when you're versatile, you have options. So I didn't mind doing, but on that particular evening, kind of wanted to fill a space, so to speak. Get that kitchen, scrubbed out a little bit.
Had a hole that needed to be plugged.
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping for a chef to do his cooking in my kitchen, but no, I had to be the chef. And
a history of referring to that as the kitchen on this show.
You know what? That was a term. Now, just to let everybody know, yes, we did used to be Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. And Randy's gone, but Randy's still a friend of the show, so we still love him. But I don't know where the term kitchen, we just started calling that the kitchen, because we want, I know what it was. Miss Randy wanted to be prim and proper at that moment.
Oh, okay.
She did not want to refer to it as the anus, so she came up with the kitchen. And I'm like,
interesting.
And so that's where the history of the kitchen in the show.
It's hard for me to say the word dick or like boy pussy and stuff. I just call it by its name, which is, your rectum
kitchen.
or the penis or the testicles. Like it's hard for me to just give it a.
Well, when Randy was here, we couldn't say the word penis. We had to say cock, right?
We had to say dick or cock,
yeah,
because penis was just too clinical and was just. And I can get where he is coming from, because it is kind of clinical. But
that's what it is.
But that's what it is. It's a penis. I mean, you don't go. A woman doesn't go to the gynecologist and go, look at my pussy. Can you take a look at my pussy? No.
Can you take a look at my
vagina? Yeah, exactly. It's all. My vagina isn't working well. Can you do some work on it? Ooh, I wish.
How does that even work?
I don't know.
I wish Singapore was
here to hear that.
laughing.
She would be correcting us.
Why did I not call her?
She'll be like, my poon. And then we'll have a couple people fainting up in here. Mm-hmm. So did people really faint when she said poon?
No, I don't. Who?
That was the segue. Like, that was how you ended the show. Ended one of the segments. You said we were all passed out and fainting. And
oh, yes.
That was just kind of one of those.
Oh, you don't remember what you said in your own show?
Oh,
really?
Good girl. There's so many. Yeah.
I'm surprised you remember any of that night.
I
missed that
do.
show, by the way. I missed it because I
barely do. I listen to it. I go back and listen to it every now and then. And oh my God, we were having. It was hilarious.
I really would like to be a part of a show when, and of course I missed it because I was traveling. But I wish we had another show with everybody here. I know it can sound a little chaotic, but I kind of love the show when I listened to it. I really did, and I missed it. But
that makes me feel sad because I feel like, wait, we're doing a show now. Do you not like what we're doing now?
Oh no, I like it. And no, don't get me wrong, because when you said that it was just that, I don't remember which day it was just going to be you and Pinky.
That was the next show.
The next show after that, I was like, let's hope there is that good interaction, that vibe that we usually try to keep, or that is usually there. And sure enough, it was there. I loved it.
That was my trauma doctor.
Trauma doctor?
What? Trauma.
The finger.
So,
I did finally make it to urgent care a day ago.
So did we turn off the phone?
It's off now, but I'm really glad that I talked to her. And like, shout out to Next Level Urgent Care for a follow-up phone call.
That's true.
Like, that's
actually, I've never.
Awesome.
Fuck, I need to start going there because I don't get that
urgent care facility
from
the doctor that I spoke to. Like, literally, the doctor followed up with me, not just one of her nurses or her secretaries.
The
actual
doctor herself
called me to follow up and see how I was doing.
She thought you were cute. She didn't know the story, did she?
No, and it's funny because
I did have a nipple showing during my visit.
There you go.
So.
There you go.
Well, let me tell you, I had to describe Charles to somebody a couple days ago.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And so I was like, he's a short white guy with pink hair.
And it's funny because I'm wearing a ball cap. It's fucking pouring down rain, so I'm wearing a ball cap and like a big coat. And she's just driving around the parking lot. Like, I was looking for the hair. I was like, had he said, like, I said a guy with pink hair, I would have been like, oh, I should probably take my hat off.
You were stressed.
He was sending me text messages, girl. This truck ran me off the road. Girl, I'm in this parking lot. I'm stranded. I'm like,
I ruined my night.
I don't even know. I was feeling for you, Pinky, because I'm like, what do I do?
Okay, so
do I make phone calls?
I guess the second,
send an Uber over.
The second and third worst issues there were, I didn't get my Foddies, and I didn't get my Kenny and Ziggy's. I was stopping at Home Depot to get supplies at Home Depot because I'm a carpenter, but I had also placed an order for my Kenny and Ziggy's matzo ball soup. Because they have the bomb fucking matzo balls.
Yes, they do. I forgot about
Kenny and Ziggy's
so delicious.
So good. And then on my way back, I was going to drive by Foddy's and get my lamb kebab. All the baby animals.
I know we talked about
the baby animals last time.
When he it reminded me of the fact that I'm out of lube and it's just not good. Well, let me rephrase that. The big bottle. I still have the little one. But that I keep in my car, although I am on a diet.
Lube. I thought you said out of the loop.
No,
that's what I thought.
Out of lube.
You keep a bottle of lube in your car? You too?
Of course.
Yeah. I have a go bag. Like, you never know.
Go bags are the thing now.
Okay, you want
to be prepared. You
must explain this to the asexual.
The thing is,
I don't know what that is.
I usually keep that in the car.
It's not a skull ring, y'all.
Okay, first of all, you literally just held up a cock ring.
Is that the one you got at the Eagle?
You realize that you just literally held up a cock ring on a podcast like everybody's supposed to know what is this bitch talking about?
I And now everyone out there
Yeah.
knows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put myself on a diet for a while because I was getting too distracted and I needed to focus on my shit, which is getting, my artwork out there and focus on work, focus on my life and whatnot. And so after a while, it was difficult the first week, but then after a while, I was like, I can go for a little longer because I really want to
sexual
focus.
diet?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
so that's why I have
how did we
not
go
I
from
call that a
finished.
hiatus.
how did we go from a
No.
lube in the car to a diet?
So I don't know,
Okay.
but it's so
Now I
weird.
get
But
it.
anyway, so that's why I have not purchased my big bottle because I refill the
That
little
shit's
bottle.
expensive.
It is $80.
Okay,
But I
$80. Oh, you get the industrial.
Oh, I get the
Why
good
you got-
one. I get the good one.
You get the
'Cause-
industry standard.
So it's cheaper.
I-
So I guess it's
I
cheaper
don't
to be
do cheap
asexual.
because I have a
That's one of those
delicate.
things you don't cheap out on. Wood
No.
flooring and lube.
Yes, you don't. And I'm sorry, I cannot take.
The wood floor or the
No,
or the lube.
I
Don't come
cannot.
at me with some sticky
I need,
ice.
let's just put it this way: if there's something going up or in, I definitely do need all the help that I can.
Mhm.
But because otherwise I won't enjoy it. And so
Who would? Lube has
Hey,
been a.
no, let me tell you, there's some
Oh, you'd
people
be
that
surprised.
you'll be surprised.
Let me tell you something.
Some people like it that raw.
Let me tell you
I
something
cannot
right now.
handle
I
it
have
that.
heard,
Is that- what?
and David and I have heard stories from
A
when
little
we
bit
were
of ice
young.
just to body sweat.
When we were
Oh,
younger,
hell no.
David and I had heard stories from older gay men, Crisco, Vaseline,
Crisco's
vegetable
Oh my God,
oil.
I hadn't heard about Crisco for forever.
Every
They
time
wear,
I
like-
looked at a can of Crisco, I just went, "Oh no!"
Vaseline, no.
No
But
Vaseline.
Crisco,
No
your
Vas-
body will absorb Crisco.
Crisco.
Let me
I always
tell
heard
you
like
something.
if you ever go to a
To
gay
me,
man's
if it's
house,
not-
where do you look for the Crisco? Under the bed. I've heard that joke so many times when I was growing up.
Can you imagine watching a Loretta Lynn commercial when she used to advertise for Crisco, and you're a gay man and you're thinking, "I'm never going to eat any of that fried chicken from Crisco ever."
Are you
Not
kidding me? That's like
ever.
the best fried chicken I've ever tasted.
I know. Don't get me wrong. It was delicious before I knew what gay men use Crisco for. After I learned what gay men use
And then it
Crisco
was your
for,
favorite.
then I went, "Oh, I'll be
They're like, oh my god.
You're
I didn't-
talking about like you're not gay.
No, I'm talking about the time when we were younger.
Okay.
We used to hear stories from
That
gay
saved me
men
a
about
stone.
how the types of things that they would
that
use
saves
for
my stomach at the grocery
lubrication.
store.
And Crisco was
Probably cheaper than
Crisco
lube.
was the number one brand that every gay man used
That's why I was
for
number one.
lubrication. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Crisco.
Yeah, I always heard that.
Put Loretta Lynn to shame, sure did.
Look, I've never. There's only two things that I have ever tried before.
Mm-hmm.
One was lube, and the other one was saliva, and saliva does not do the trick.
You know what doesn't work? Lotion. Especially scented lotions. No thank you. And soap? That's the no.
I've never tried that.
I can
so-
I can tell you right now,
I'm
this has
bougie.
probably happened.
In that sense, I'm very bushy. I don't. I really
No,
do
it's
have to
fine.
buy the real
And I
one.
know that this is
It's all about the
probably
Swiss Navy.
this has probably happened at the table.
No, I like wet.
When you're in the middle of a good
I thought you were
sex,
about gun.
girl,
What is
I'm
that?
talking.
Sorry.
When you're in the middle of a good sex session, I mean, you were with someone that you like.
Mm-hmm.
The sex is going great. Everything's going well, and then
But
that bottle of lube comes up, and there's only a tiny bit left, and you're both looking at each other like, "What do we?"
Oh no, I
What
look
do
at it
we-
before I bring it up into view.
We do because we took one night, on one occasion, we took a half a bottle of lube and we used most of it. But still,
Were you wrestling?
what type of?
we were.
How big was this bottle?
It was a pretty big bottle.
Was it a cheap one?
No,
Was it liquid?
but it was water-based.
water based.
no, it was silicone based.
Silicone based?
We just ran out.
Oh, you bought
We
some
literally
cheap shit?
we
You guys are just using too much.
for maybe. Well, we were having a good time that
I was gonna
night.
say
That's all I'm saying.
29
And by the
half
time we
hours.
looked at the last two drops, we were like, "What do we do?" And he's like, "Well, you got lotion in the bathroom," but I'm like,
Oh no. Mm-mm.
"Okay, I never tried lotion, but I'm wearing a condom too." So I'm like, "But yeah, we're not gonna." I don't know how this is. And we try to use a condom, and guess what? It tore. I mean, we tried to use lotion, and it tore, and we had to end it, and that was that. But it was
just a bunch of liquid silicone at that point. You guys created a vapor barrier anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, I think we need to take a break. Do we need to take a break?
Crazy sauce.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break because Carlos is gonna be leaving us shortly. We're gonna get to
talking about
in the next half. I mean, we basically did group chat in the first half of the show. So
sure did.
The next half of the show, we're gonna talk news. We're gonna talk political stuff. We're gonna talk all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna get to that in the second half of the show. So, Carlos,
yes,
thank you for being on.
No, thank you for having me.
And your art show, I can't wait to see it tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow at 4 p.m.
But I'm going to be honest, I'm really looking forward to open bar and free food.
October 5th.
And a live band, and I want to wear something cute. And
it's gonna
David White and I are going to wear cute outfits, and we're going to eat some food, and we're going to have a couple of drinks.
Yes. By the way, I'm making more.
And I'm going to talk to a lot of men.
Heels go over at this event?
I don't think anybody would care.
Perfect.
It's the art community. You would just be another art thing.
I will never be just another art.
Okay, we're taking a break. We'll be right back. We'll be right back because, insert commercial. Be right back.
Beep, beep.
It's like a Hillary
CV
Monica
photography
thing, like
zero, don't forget.
Forward, please. Are we back? Oh, we're back. Look at that. Timers have been set. We're back for the second half of the show.
Second third of the show.
Sorry, second third of the show. We're back. It's that little gay talk show. Now look, I got my little note cards. I've been writing notes all day. I'm excited.
It's so cute.
I know, right? I'm excited.
Organized.
Professional. Because we're gonna get a little serious here for a moment. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I think because we're about to talk about the LGBTQ debates.
So
Let's get into
that. A gay
that.
president and a straight president?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to throw the floor over to Miss White because she's going to give the audience some of her ideas, some opinions. Because look, I'm gonna be honest. This bitch watched the debates. The rest of us did.
Twice.
The rest of us didn't. So for those of you who did watch the debates, I'm handing the mic over to Miss White because she knows everything that's going on. Go ahead, Miss White.
Well, what kinds of questions do y'all have?
Okay, first of all, let's talk.
I did see it twice. So
why did we hold LGBT debate?
It was actually the first of the two. There's another one coming up in early October, and it will have the guidelines that the DNC has set for qualify for debates. This one that we just had this past week.
Democratic National.
Yes, DNC. I'm sorry,
National
Democratic National Committee. And the one we just had was based by GLAD, The Advocate, Iowa One, Gazette, and something else, NBC News. And it was not televised; it was on YouTube. And it was anybody who was running for president. There were no guidelines as to certain criteria of how many people are following you or how much money you made. Anybody who was a declared candidate could be in this forum. And it was it wasn't really a debate as much as it was a forum. Each moderator had about maybe 5 to 8 minutes with each candidate. Mm-hmm. And the candidates were, they were all I say all the candidates. There were a couple of notable candidates, about 3 candidates. Notably, that were not there. Beto O'Rourke was not there.
Beto wasn't there?
No, he wasn't there. And Andrew Yang was not there. And neither was Bernie Sanders. He wasn't there either. So kind of a couple of big names for sure who are going to be in the debate, but they were not in this political forum for whatever the reason. There were scheduling conflicts according to Sanders, and I don't remember hearing anything about Yang or Beto O'Rourke. But those were the most notably absent people. But there were still plenty of other people there, and the conversations basically went everywhere from every candidate was asked the question, let's see if I can say, what can the LGBT community expect from you in the first 100 days of your term? Every candidate was asked that question. And they all gave the standard, we're going to pass the Equality Act, and we're going to have health care for everybody, including the HIV community and the transgender community. And, all of the pretty much the same answers. But it was one answer to me that stood out as the most, I called it a tearjerker because I've seen it twice and cried twice, was when Elizabeth Warren came up, and in her first question, she mentioned the names of 18 transgender women who had been killed. Well, now that's 19 since that day, but at that time there were 18, and she named all 18 of those women. And it was just, there was a dry eye in the audience. It was just, and for me too, I've watched it twice and cried twice, because no one's ever given names to these people. And she was the first. Right, exactly. And she was the first to come along and give, and she had a note card. She listed every 18 names, and it was just like jaw-dropping. It was like, wow, I think she gets it.
Then she used her time. Because you only get so much time to respond in these situations.
3 minutes. Yeah.
And so she used the time it took to say those 18 names to try and drop a fucking anchor.
And it was serious.
Because you were really paying attention to the rest of everything she said the whole rest of the night.
That is exactly right. That was exactly right. And even Pete Buttigieg didn't come in and didn't rock the world like that. I will say he received the longest and loudest applause of anyone on there. I guess because he's a part of our community. Right. But he didn't really, nothing he says, I think he said stood out from the rest of the people, like what Elizabeth Warren had done. And so, kudos to her.
Streamline responses for a debate, like stay safe, don't make yourself a target.
And she wasn't, she was one of the, I guess she was the second to last, or maybe third to the last to speak. And so she, in my opinion, she racked up some points with me. I'm not sure that I'm ready to vote for her yet, but she racked up some points with me. And also, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Am I saying it wrong?
Hey, no, you're saying it right.
She did pretty well on her too. I just made some notes here. Just some of the things that one of the things that Mayor Pete had talked about was the FDA ban on giving of gay men and bisexual men giving blood. That in this country we are not allowed to give blood.
Correct. You're not allowed to donate.
That is right.
You're not allowed to donate blood. You're not allowed to get
platelets,
plasma,
none of that. So he would work to try to overturn that ban. Although to his credit, Democratic presidents before him have tried to no avail as well. Obama had tried, and Bill Clinton had tried. Although Bill Clinton didn't really give it a try like he should have, I think.
Right? Had he given a college try?
Yeah, and I say the same thing for Obama too. Obama didn't really do. In my opinion, he didn't do as much as he could have done when it came to lifting that ban as well. Because there are other countries, Canada and Australia, where the ban did exist, but no longer exists because they've got the science behind to say that.
Well, right. If we can test positive for HIV, we can tell if somebody's donated sample.
Exactly, and the blood's tested, and the blood's tested anyway. So it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me simply because, first of all, and I have given blood before, and that was before the ban, by the way, or. In fact, I actually did give blood, even though the ban was still in effect, but I didn't say that I was gay. So, I did what I did. But the thing is that they also test for hepatitis, for tuberculosis, for all this other stuff.
It exists, and the ban on that, I think there are several, it's not just gay people who can't donate blood.
That's right.
Anyone who has received money or goods or services, or money for sex, as unsafe bets for blood donation. But that being said, why are gay men automatically grouped into this segment of people who are prostitutes automatically?
Right.
And don't get me wrong,
it's no longer an exit-only people. It hasn't been for a really long time.
And I don't have a problem with sex work
of all the things you could sell, why on earth is that one selling orgasms? It's illegal.
Exactly.
I agree.
Well, I don't want to get too far into that. I really want to get into the debates for just a few minutes. I would like to know and I'm going to say this because this is actually kind of cool to say on the show from our correspondent David. What were the highlights and Well, I think you kind of answered that question in a small way, but
Well, I mean, there were some
highlights and the lowlights of the show.
There were some notable, the candidates who had been around for a while. For example, Harris, Biden, and Warren, to an extent. They basically were confronted with answering why did they change their mind? When did they evolve, so to speak? To give you an example, Biden, when he was in the Senate, he voted for Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and he was made to. And remember, he came out on was it Meet the Press? I want to say the first to say that he's for gay marriage, and then shortly after that, President Obama came out and said that he was too. Right. That his thinking had evolved, but Biden was kind of caught off guard with having to explain his yes vote for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And he also had to fight for a reason to explain why he voted for the crime bill. And that's not necessarily LGBT related, but it was just kind of an example where he was made to answer for his sins in the past,
right.
Basically.
One thinking, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And now
all of a sudden you're thinking it's okay to get married, but it's okay to be in the military, but you voted for Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
So it's like, are you just being a politician and switching in the way that's going to get you the most votes, or these actually your views that you're going to institute post facto when you get into office?
Exactly. And the same thing with Kamala Harris. She was the she was the California State Attorney General, and she was pro the death sentence for many many cases where she was the lead prosecutor. But in fact, she has gone back and said she is anti-death sentence, death penalty. But she was made to ask, well, then how come you were for it before you were against it? And she basically said, and she made a very, very good point. She says, look, I'm tasked with enforcing the laws of the state. And the law says I have to shoot for the death penalty on this, then that's the law. That's what doesn't matter what I think. That's what the law says. I got to give her credit there. That's credit.
That is being a true, honest politician.
Yeah.
Because your personal views shouldn't cloud what you are tasked to do as a vessel for your people.
Right. And so I give her credit there too. And then I think that healthcare, as it pertains to HIV and the trans communities, from almost all the candidates was a big topic. A couple of the candidates even brought up Medicaid. You should be allowed to have transgendered health care. And Klobuchar even pro Medicaid allowing trans surgeries as it pertains to Iowa. Currently, Iowa Medicaid does not allow for trans surgeries, but she actually is for it. And she's also for it in the case of inmates as well. No, sorry, that's Warren. I'm sorry, that's Warren. Warren was she's pro trans surgeries for inmates as well. And she said, and she makes a good comment, and it's one of those taglines that says, "Equal means equal for all, not equal for some." And so
I agree with that, except for the fact that you forfeit some of your freedoms when you become an incarcerated individual.
That's true. And then the big one for the day was, the day before this, the presidential forum had taken place. Ben Harris, who is the current Housing and Urban Development Secretary under the current administration, had made the comment of trans women being big old hairy men. And a couple of people, including Mayor Pete, had made the comment that had any of their appointed officials had made a comment like that would have been their last day in federal office. And to big applause to that too. And I think Julian Castro made the same comment too. Said if anybody thinks about making a comment like that in my administration, they can pack their bags up and leave, because that'll be the last day they work for federal services. So there's a lot of.
That gives me goosebumps to hear.
Yeah. So
and there's a certain amount of that, like. There's only so much of that you can believe from a politician before they're sitting in the chair.
Right.
Because it's all about riling people up. It's all about giving them goosebumps. It's all about ratings. It's all about responders. And then when they get in that chair, sometimes it turns out to be a different story.
That's true.
So let me ask a question. How do you think politicians rectify mistakes of the past with future voters, and to convince future voters to say, hey, okay, that was the past? I'm
going to use myself as an example. I think that evolution is possible. I will say that the very, very first primaries that I voted in when I turned 18, Ronald Reagan was on the ticket, and I voted in the Republican primaries. I did. But when it actually came time to vote in the presidential election, it was a straight Democratic ticket, and it has
Right.
been ever since. So yeah, I know that's minor, but I mean, it just goes to show how evolution it is possible to evolve in your beliefs. And I think that's in the case of Biden, for example, he voted for "Don't Ask, Don't Tell," but then he also voted for the repeal of it as well.
Right.
I didn't throw that part in there, but
I mean,
people
in
evolve.
some of those situations, you vote one way. Like there's that whole like, I don't know. It's becoming an old adage now for non-gay folks who don't understand the thinking until they know one.
I think it's like the societal views as well too.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you look at, like, for
Because
example,
if you're a politician, you have to think about that.
yeah, and I think if you look example for just the concept of gay marriage, even among Republicans, it enjoys wide support, wide support, even among Republicans.
Right.
10 years ago, that didn't exist.
Right.
So people's thinking has evolved. And I credit most of that to the younger generations, but people's thinking over time do evolve, and I think
and part of keeping the peace and being in that Oval Office and that being part of your job description could mean like not passing things because you see the possibility of like a civil war breaking out over this issue coming about in this nation that is not ready for something so radical.
right.
It's like, is this going to cause more good than it is bad? And are we ready to take on the reparations of what that's going to cause damage-wise? You know, is our nation ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of have to sit back and like let the social media machine do its work. Because if it's just a trend, if it's just something that's trending, it's going to fall off.
Right.
But if our presidents and our lawmakers start establishing laws based on trends, we're going to get stuck with something.
Well, I kind of feel like that's what "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" was, for example.
Right.
It was a step forward from absolute ban, but you still couldn't talk about it. So what kind of that's a semi-restriction, I guess.
Right,
I don't know.
It's kind of trivial,
Right.
Because I think at that point you could still get dismissed from active duty,
Right.
And people don't understand that like it wasn't about just not talking about it. It's like if
Correct.
you verified the fact that you are homosexual, you could still get dishonorably discharged and not, garner any of the benefits of the service you had provided our
Correct.
nation.
Mm-hmm. No rights as a veteran.
Right. And which are pitiful,
Mm-hmm.
At this rate, even still. If we're talking about veteran benefits, we don't really take care of these guys the way that we should.
We don't.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, that was a big thing for me. Part of my decision-making process when I was originally pledged to join the Marine Corps out of high school. Like, I had my delayed entry program paperwork signed. The second I graduated, I was ready to, study uniform code, military justice. I was my Marine recruiter's wet dream in, like, a recruiting sense, not an actual wet dream.
That we know.
I mean, that I know of. But the fact that I could do, like, 30 pull-ups and, like, I could run a mile and a half, and I was fucking brainy. He was like, yeah, I got a gold mine here. But the whole gay thing had started budding in me at that process. And, I mean, there were a bunch of other issues that attributed to me not actually going in. But no, I mean, you could still lose it. People think that Don't Ask, Don't Tell was, like, this solve for that problem. I was like, no. Because if you decided to really identify with who you were, you still got nixed.
It was considered a compromise, which was a joke because there was no compromise.
Right. It was a compromise on military stand. It was a militant compromise.
Right.
It was a negotiation
Yeah.
from military standards. They thought they were giving, just like, any kind of anything goes with, thinking of something from a militant standpoint.
Right.
It was just as magnanimous as any other fucking
Well,
militant
I
negotiation.
want to throw this in here because we are talking about the debates right now, and I would like to throw this in here. I want to ask one question, and I'm going to give one statement before that. The question is, one, how do you think that Angelica Ross did as a host and presenter? I'm going to say host and presenter.
She didn't really present. I thought she was a terrible host. That doesn't make me anti-trans, so I'm not transphobia, so whatever you idiots out there are starting to believe, get it out of your head. She just did a terrible
was that
job.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, we were talking about the same trans individual?
No. She's on Pose.
Okay.
She's one of the Pose characters. But it didn't matter. I thought she did a terrible job.
Right.
And Kimono, whatever, from Queer Eye, what's his name?
Yes.
He made a little cameo.
Karama, yes.
I'm sorry. He made a cameo on there. He did a terrible job too. I mean, it was just like those two. And then at one point, those two together.
Acting.
No, at one point, those two were dancing with each other, and I was just like, y'all suck. I mean,
and why are you dancing at something that's we're supposed to be taking seriously?
You know, and it was just that I know that she caught a whole lot of hate mail from Twitter. In fact, she left Twitter because she'd got so much hate mail, hate Twitters, I guess. But
well, she got a lot of hate mail from mostly Bernie Sanders.
Well, yeah, because she ditched Bernie Sanders because he didn't show up for the
So she was throwing shade,
right?
And then she got back and she decided to ditch Twitter.
And then she's no longer supposedly no longer on Twitter. But I'll be honest with you, her show was she's an
actress.
I felt like she was just there to be the trans person,
the token,
yeah, because she just
I don't really know what I'm doing because I've never presented.
What was she doing? Because it was just like, what? I mean, an announcer could do what you're doing, you know?
Right? Have you ever been to one of these before, honey? You're
well,
out of your depth.
I think to take in the context, and it is Angelica Ross. Make sure I look this up. She is amazingly enough, she's an IT person. She's a computer scientist, and she has a tech firm that kind of helps gay, lesbian, transgender people get into the tech field.
Good for her.
It's not a firm. It's not a firm. It's more.
It doesn't help you.
It's more of a cooperative, I think, but it's really to help.
It doesn't help you filter.
Yeah, it's mostly to help.
Twitter.
Yeah, it's mostly to help transgender people get into the workforce, especially when it
put some of those young ones to work. And maybe get back on Twitter.
But I don't think. I'm going to be honest. When I first heard that she was going to be the host, I thought, okay, two things are going to happen. Either you're going to have to be really, really good at what you do,
which she's not,
or you're going to
tank. I would have rather, since this is a political debate, I would have rather used someone who is transgendered, who is political and in politics of some kind to lead that.
For me, it's just like it's reaching too far. Why? Like, let's stop with the token BS.
Right.
And
I think that's what it was.
It's like homegirls who did, Fox Presents Rocky Horror Picture Show Live. They threw a trans individual in there. It's like, wait. Let's get back to the actual message from the actual, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
The whole premise there was that was a man who dressed in women's clothing.
Right. That was Laverne Cox who was on the reprise, if you will. That was Laverne Cox.
Yeah. Laverne Cox. And I just thought it was inappropriate. She didn't do a good job. It was like, well, hell, they just fucking threw a token trans in there. And she half-assed it. And, I mean, for me, to upstage Tim Curry as fucking Frankenfurter,
right,
you'd have to have been me.
Well, Pinky, I'm gonna throw some.
I just hate the token thing. I think we're over that. I think that's so 90s.
I'm gonna throw this in here because I don't want. I'm not really worried about offending the audience, but I'm really want to understand what normalization is. I want the audience to understand what normalization is.
Normalization is good.
And here's the thing. I understand why they threw Laverne Cox into that role because all they wanted to do, transgender person, blah, 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 blah. That's what they did because they haven't done it before, and that's what they wanted to do. And yes, mistakes were made.
They misinterpreted the message. They said, you're trans. We'll throw you in this trans role, even though you're the wrong kind of transgender individual.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Same thing they did with Rent.
Here's the thing. I get that. When the first person does something, sometimes it doesn't go over well. And sometimes it doesn't go. Sometimes it can be great when you're the first black person to do something. When you're first Asian person to do this. When you're the first gay person to do that. When you're the first person to do something, that's a lot of pressure.
It is.
And it's literally being thrown on you. And like I said, sometimes it works and sometimes it
role,
doesn't.
But
It
here's the thing,
doesn't.
I don't think that Laverne Cox is a bad actress. She does a fantastic job.
No.
Orange the,
Great.
No,
Orange the New
she's
Black.
a great
She did a fantastic
actress.
job. I just felt like that her acting wasn't what the issue is here.
Mm-hmm.
She was the wrong person
It's
for
the
that
insult.
role. That's what it
It's
was.
the insult to the community.
Right.
To say, oh, trans. And it sounds like they heard the first part of that word
Mm-hmm.
and then saw trans
Mm-hmm.
on your screenshot or your headshot.
And Laverne Cox was
Your
the first
handwriting.
person to come to
Bam.
mind.
You know, she had the most money going through the system at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the most controversial and all in the news. And so Fox said, "Oh, we got to get this fucking we hate fags thing off the fucking air.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get rid of this. So we're gonna do Rent and we're gonna do Rocky Horror Picture Show because those are the two most controversial
Mm-hmm.
queer
Yeah.
spectacle, you know, things we could put on." So they did, but they if they had reversed those two almost, if Laverne Cox had done Rent
Mm-hmm.
and the drag queen
Mm-hmm.
that they had to do Rent did Rocky Horror Picture Show,
That
man,
would have made more
I'm-
sense.
I am instantly not unhappy about
Yeah,
it.
that would have made more
I
sense.
can't
On top of the
imagine.
fact they were both kind of shit. I was unimpressed.
I
But let's
That's
not
true.
get too far now. This is what
I
happens.
love them both in their own right.
But this is what
her as
happens.
a drag queen
Mhm.
and her as an actress. I love them both. I am not throwing shade at any of them. I am throwing shade at the network
Mm-hmm.
that put them into those roles and
They put them in the
offered
wrong roles.
ungodly amounts of money.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they would take these roles, and of course they did the best job that they possibly could playing them.
Although they were miscast.
Mm-hmm.
But their social politics were misplaced because they let themselves portray a character. Because Laverne Cox didn't portray a man wearing women's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And the drag queen didn't portray a transgendered individual. They didn't do the screenplays and the transcripts justice,
Right.
is my issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with the Little Mermaid issue that I had. Fine. It's like, you know what? No, the Little Mermaid is not about Ariel. But then, why didn't we just decide to make the Little Mermaid casting about one of the other daughters? His daughters are multi-racial,
Mm-hmm.
even in the animated version. Don't make it about Ariel. Don't cast the black girl as Ariel. Give that black girl her own fucking name.
Mm-hmm. I get where you're going, but I don't want to get too far.
No, I mean, and that's a
Yeah, I
whole
know.
trans thing. Like,
We're-
that's Fox, like,
yeah.
these blinders on, like, and they
Right.
only opened their scope enough to see the word trans.
Yeah.
And then started
But
casting
first
all
of
these
all,
people as trans.
First of
with drag
all,
queen.
that was a Disney decision. We're not gonna get Disney
We're not going to get
decisions
Disney on our ass.
because you know what? Disney might make this actually the most absolute amazing thing on the planet,
Disney owns Fox now too.
and Disney owns
No
Fox
surprise
now,
there.
so they might make this the most amazing
I just
thing on
hate
the
that they own
planet.
Star Wars.
But I really
Didn't
want
The
us to
See
stay.
this coming back with the Simpsons. I think that
Yeah,
was
I
They
know.
saw Trump in the White House.
That's yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Long
yeah.
before they
Yes.
saw Disney.
But I want to
Fox.
get back. I really want to get back to the
That's
debates
funny.
because I really want to end it on the debates for this
All right,
segment of the
master
show.
debater.
Because I really want to get back to it,
You're the
and I
master
really want to hear who you're from leaving this debate.
Who's your dark horse?
What's your biggest impression from the debates after watching them?
Well, Pete Buttigieg is my candidate for the time being.
Was
But
he your candidate before the
yeah,
debate?
yeah,
Okay.
he was.
So he is still
He's
where
still-
your heart is set.
But I will say, Elizabeth Warren, she's moved up
So
to
Warren is kind of somebody else that's in your periphery
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, you know, when Barack Obama was before he was voted for president, a lot of my black friends would go, "Who are you going to vote for? We'll vote for Barack Obama. Why? Because he's black." And I'm like, "You don't even know what the issues are. You're just going to vote for him because he's black." And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are sitting here, David. Who are you going to vote for? Buttigieg. Why? Because he's gay. Except that I do know what his policies are, and I don't agree
Right.
with them necessarily. But I get. I think it would be awesome to see a gay person in the White
Because
House.
there's
I
certain-
think that
You know-
Because they're gay.
No.
Well, I don't.
No.
Yeah.
I want to take issue with that because
But you know that he's not the.
He's not going to make
lesser of the evil.
Right. And I don't agree with all of his policies, first of all.
Right.
I don't. And,
but he's certainly a lesser evil.
But
you have an educated thing. It's not just because he's a gay guy. It would be a plus.
Right.
And he is not the most evil somebody who could sit atop that throne.
Miss Pinky, I'm going to throw this in here because I understand where David's coming from. There's a certain amount of pride that comes into the fact that
this should never affect your voter?
No, hold on. Hold on. Will you please listen? Hold on. Now, I wasn't quite so sure when Barack Obama came around. I'm like, who is this? I have no idea who this is. There's no way he's ever going to make any... There's no way he's... And yes, there were a lot of black people who were like, who is this? I don't know who this is. His name is Barack, whatever.
Shut up.
And everybody thought that it was always going to be about Hillary at the time. That's what everybody thought.
That's what everybody thought.
That's what everybody thought. It was going to be all about Hillary. And then this man comes along and he just charisma.
Cleaned house with
charisma, like sexiness.
No, Trump.
No.
Trump helped with
no.
No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump advertising the fact that this motherfucker couldn't possibly have been born on American soil.
Mm-hmm. That was after he was elected.
That was after he was elected. But the fact of the matter is that beforehand, here comes a man who is quiet, says what he has to say.
I think Trump had a lot to say.
No, he didn't. Actually, that was after he was elected. That was after he was elected. That is after he was elected.
I feel like I heard things out of Trump before.
In fact, that came in the second, by the way, that became in his second run. So, yeah, that happened in his second
term elections. I don't
his second term,
4 years. I don't know if Trump is capable of keeping his mouth shut for 4 years.
Okay, but here's the thing. There's a certain amount of pride you feel when you see yourself being represented and you think, hold on. Calm down, Pinky.
Well, I know, but you're looking at the table and looking at me and saying, no,
calm down, Pinky. Any of that. There's a certain amount of pride when you see, this guy, one of us. This guy might actually make it, and he's one of us. He's one of us.
I will look up there and I will say one of us when I see a real motherfucking American up there doing that.
Okay, you know what?
And not just we only have politician.
We only have a few seconds before. Time for break. Thank you, David, for your commentary on the debate. I really, really am glad that we had this conversation.
So am I.
Because it was really...
I love that we're holding special debates now, like gay pride.
I really love that you say that. I hear that you say that with such animosity. But you know what? We're going to... such animosity. But
it's not animosity.
We're going to take a break. And we will be right back because next, the last third
is Halloween is coming up.
I didn't even get to all my stuff.
Supreme Court.
Girl, there's
politics aren't over.
On each one of those
We're not done yet, huh?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's take a break and I'm gonna bring some stuff up. So let's take a break.
We got a break. Girl, we're late. We're late.
Hey, we're back. We're about to finish the last half hour of the show.
The last half.
Which for Pinky will be the last 10 minutes of the show. Or the first 10 minutes of the show.
10 good inches in this last half.
Okay, nobody ever said anything about 10 good inches. Ever.
But I was outside having a cigarette, and I just happened to come across this Nissan Rogue, and so I brought Ryan up from the street. I'm just kidding. Me and Ryan play in the pool tournament together. But he's my ride there.
Okay, so why don't you talk about the pool tournament? Why, since you have to leave.
Okay, so open enrollment for the pool tournament. It happens every Wednesday and Friday at George, your country. Not George's. Unless you know George personally. You don't call it George's.
What do you call it? George?
There's no way.
You really just call it George?
It's George, your country sports.
So I'm going to a bar called George.
Very good.
Yes.
Look at that.
Not George's.
No,
just George.
Do you know?
Not like Michael's Outpost.
No.
Like Michael Outpost.
No.
Michael, a outpost.
Right, yeah. But no, I know George personally, so I can say George's, but George's bar.
So it's just George.
It's just George.
Just George. Only
Your
Like,
George.
just
Your
check.
country
So
support
when I'm driving down Fairview and I'm looking for George, hey, where's George?
It's the one that says George in rainbow-colored leathers.
Well, George is on the street corner hooking himself. So
No, not George.
That's a different
Not that
George.
George.
If he tells you his name is George.
No, I'm at the bar. Oh, I have a bar at my house,
If he tells you his name
that's
is George,
$20
he owns That
extra.
bar that he's sitting in front of, he's lying to you. Don't give him
You would
any
not be
money.
standing on the street corner.
He does not have cash at home that he will pay you back with.
Mhm. So why is this pool tournament the most end all be all? I have always wondered this. How come you always every Wednesday we do the show every Wednesday, and he always I have to be at George. What George's?
I have to- no.
George.
No.
I have to be at
Like
George.
George of the Jungle.
Oh,
It's
Lord.
just George.
I had to be at George for the pool tournament
Yeah.
at 8 something.
Because I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
He is good.
Uh-huh.
He's even better in his heels.
Do you win prizes? What's
Cash.
going on?
It's a $5 buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
The more people there are, the bigger the pot is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you place, you get money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last Wednesday it was what? It was like $88 for first place.
So you run out for $88?
I'm sorry.
So you ran out for $88?
I'd run out for less
As
than
a,
that.
as opposed, y'all, to the zero I'm getting
Exactly.
right here in this chair.
I
Exactly.
know.
Just getting fucking older.
I'd run out
Okay,
for less.
excuse me.
And not laid, because it's also a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also getting drinks.
Mhm.
Not for me. I'm also potentially getting laid. So there's a lot more than just $88 going on there.
There seems to be a lot. I'm not going to get to my cards. That's what really pisses me off. I'm not going to get to my cards.
Do it on Instagram.
I'm not,
Take
okay.
pictures of your cards and post them on
How
Instagram.
about,
Instagram needs a little love anyway.
okay, well, since you have to
It
go,
does.
let's make this a flash moment. We're going to do Flash Talk, where we talk for 2 minutes about, I didn't say that. I didn't say
I feel
that.
like you did.
No, that's not what I said.
I just flashed everybody.
No, That's not what I said. We're going to take a couple moments. We're going to talk about some subjects.
Are we doing a lightning round?
Yeah, why
First thing
not?
that comes to your mind.
So Halloween's coming up.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a moment. What to do and what not to wear for Halloween. Gays.
I have been told that I need to dress like a Heather.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
So I'm either doing that or Kill La Kill.
Mm-hmm. Kill a Kill. Kill a Kill. I'm sorry. I love Kill a Kill. I'm
So do
whispering that.
It's so good.
It's so
Oh,
good.
God.
I'm sorry.
I know we're nerding
I know
out.
we're nerding out because it's Japanese anime,
As opposed to American anime.
which there's no such thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
That's good. Now that we've established Japanese anime is super ridiculous.
Although I consider Bob's Burgers kind of like American anime. It's
That's why it's shitty anime.
There are some good American anime series on Netflix.
Is it
Mhm.
anime then? Is anime the style of
Okay.
animation then?
Can you
Does it evolve?
please tell me what those? I mean, I did watch She-Ra, which I can't believe I oh my god, I love
Is she
She-Ra.
trans?
She-Ra,
She-
yes, I love She-Ra, Princess of Power. I don't know
She
why.
sounds like she has a dick.
No, she does not have a dick.
As you know.
I feel like in the new
That you know
American
of, I mean,
in the new American series, she probably
Princess
will.
of Power.
Mhm. I'm
Dildo
sorry
of
that
power.
she's not wearing the short skirt from the
Palm
80s.
of power.
I'm sorry that
Adam's
she's.
apple of power.
Mhm. Oh my god. So Halloween costumes. We're just like Walmart.
Hairy breasted.
Just like Walmart, who started advertising in July for Halloween. Here are some of the costumes, queens, that I shouldn't have to tell you not to wear. Don't do blackface at all. I don't care how much you love Viola Davis. Do not do
Is that
Viola
Cookie?
Davis if you are white.
Is that Cookie?
No.
Oh.
That's-
How to Get Away with Murder?
That's Taraji Henson.
Boy, you gotta get burned.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. Do
You
not.
gotta go like Sharpie all over.
I
your
know.
face.
Don't do that. Wait a minute, bitch. That's insulting.
Well, no, I was
Sharpie.
Sharpie, that's what the president uses.
At least
to
a
document
dark
weather.
brown Sharpie. Good God. She went all up in
Sharpie
the
Gate.
right. He goes over and he just checks the grammar on these reports. He does eyebrows all over the sheet.
Don't give this bitch vodka anymore. Now I know why she loves tequila.
That was also how Alabama was going to get hit by that hurricane.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Sharpie Gate.
It's the Coriolanus effect.
Okay, so next before Pinky leaves, Title VII going before the Supreme Court on October 8th.
Correct.
How important is that? Because that is very
I feel like
important.
there's only one person in the room who could answer that question.
No, Is it
It's totally important. It's probably
gonna
next
take a note.
to same-sex marriage. It's probably one of the top two things facing the Supreme Court of Art in the past 10 years. Probably, it's pretty important.
God, 10 years ago, I was really young.
Well, it's the problem. The problem is that the makeup of the Supreme Court now leaning towards leaning conservative, thanks to Trump and the backhanded deals that he made with the backhanded deals that he made with one of the Supreme Court justices to retire.
Isn't that when you jerk with your hand upside down?
I don't know what that is.
Backhanded.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's a different effect. That's how he got all those votes. Because he uses backhand.
Oh, that's gross. And I don't even want to think about stuff like that. Fuck you.
Anyway,
Fuck you.
it's important. And unfortunately, I think the swing vote is going to be Chief Justice John Roberts. Probably will be the swing vote on this one. I think, but
I think so.
we
Ryan
shall see.
concurs. Speak up, Ryan. You got a mic right in front of you. That mic
I know,
is
I
live.
see it. It's right there. I see it. It's all green. And
We shall
everything.
see.
It's all green and everything.
It's all green, but it's also all black.
Oh dear.
Oh Lord.
Oh dear.
It's all black and it's
I
kind of
may
big.
have, I may have laid a little bit.
It has a little bit of
groundwork for you,
curve.
It's got a
It's
pretty
got a
big
little
head.
bit of a curve, but you know.
It's got a pretty big head. It does. I may have laid a little bit of groundwork before you came up, Brian.
Really? I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, Ryan? I feel embarrassed by that right now.
You said
because
feel embarrassed.
You said it.
I feel embarrassed
There is
right
no
now.
reason to be
because
It's got a big
because
head on it.
all he
black.
said because you know what? Here's all he said was, "Oh, he's an IT guy," and then I just went. Yes, please.
I also said he's a cute thickums.
Mm-hmm. I didn't care about the thick ups. All I heard was, "He's an IT guy." Yes, please.
So that's all it took?
Insert Bill.
Literally all it took.
All of a sudden, the sapiosexual part of it.
His
comes
Oval
out.
Office is open for business.
Okay, you know what? Leave my Oval Office out of this. Thank you. Right now, I
Are
do
you talking
not.
to me or Ryan?
You know, Melania just redid the Oval Office, so I don't really want to have a conversation about the Oval Office right now.
Let's, because if she redid it, did you see that fucking trench coat she was wearing when she got on that fucking plane?
Which one? She has so many of them.
I don't trust her trace for nothing.
Look, I realize that there are
We got
gay,
Vamos a la Playa, though.
I realize that there are gay Republicans, but come
Go to
on.
the beach.
Was there one bitch who couldn't tell her
It's
not
in
to?
Spanish, I know.
Please don't wear that. Girl, don't wear that.
Don't wear what?
Any of
Was there
what she wears.
one gay Republican who could have literally looked at her and said, "Girl, please don't wear that"?
No!
God, for the love of
They were
God.
all in stalls at the airport at the time when she was boarding the plane.
tapping their feet?
Do you know who your ex... I'm sorry.
Yep. That's it.
I love that so much.
Do you realize who your ex-press secretary was? No, Sarah Huckabee.
Sanders Huckabee.
This bitch couldn't dress for nothing in the world.
Suck it.
And
I loved when she wore that green dress. And
I know.
Suck it,
It was...
Amber.
Everyone put all the
Green
different
dress.
images on it.
Oh my
That
God.
green dress. We had a heyday with that.
Ryan,
Oh my god, but not a real green dress. That's cruel.
you...
You should see this.
I hate to say
Is that a
this.
Smash Mouth song?
Okay.
If I had... Oh no, it's Simon and Garfunkel, right?
If I had a real green dress?
No, if I had $1 million.
That's not Simon and Garfunkel.
What is
That's
It's not Smash Mouth.
it's
Where did you get Smash Mouth in this?
Bundle Surfer.
It's not Smash Mouth.
Who is it?
Um,
Bare Naked Ladies.
yes, Bare Naked Ladies.
Mm-hmm.
In the song, it's like, if I had $1 million, I would buy you a green dress, but not a real green dress. That's cruel.
You know what?
Has nobody made that connection with the fact that she was
Yeah, I'm
wearing a
making
fucking
that
green
connection
dress?
right now, and it's very appropriate, I think.
It would
I
be
think
such
so.
a great, like, I could
Yes.
see that, like, in the bifold of, like, Cosmopolitan magazine.
I'm sorry. Don't you have a pool
I
tournament to
do.
get
We're meeting
to?
now.
Don't you have a pool tournament to get to? Because if you
Get
don't,
the stinkums on.
Ryan might be spending the night. So you got to get Ryan out of here.
I don't know if Ryan,
If I knew
knows about
IT
it or
had that
not.
much power,
Wow.
I would have changed careers a long time ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to get Ryan
No,
out
she
of
used
here.
to be a hooker, and now she switched to IT.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. Thanks.
IT pays better.
Ryan, thank you for being. Thank
been
you
hooking
for being on the
Clearly a
last.
supply and demand issue
Thanks for
there.
letting me be here.
Hey, thank you for being on the last half of the show, where I'm going to now
Third.
spend
Last
the
third of the show.
last third of the show. I'm sorry, last third of the show,
Last third.
where I'm now going to be spending time in the shower,
Um,
and I will be thinking about you while I'm in the shower. By the way, so
The person over there.
okay, why don't I get? I'll get it.
No, I can get it.
Okay,
bam.
bam,
Butt shot.
there we go. Why did you do
All
that,
of it in
Ryan?
grill.
Thank you.
Oh, he's gonna hand it to me. Okay,
Is
my
there?
good hand's not full.
Fine.
I'll take it.
Good luck.
Oh, I've heard that before.
All right, I need hugs. Everybody hugs.
Hold on. Give him a hug first. I'll give you guys some time.
Oh, the call by call. Joel is feeling out Ryan now.
Okay.
Joel is.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Well,
like a
it's excited
tent
here.
fort in the dining room.
Okay, I'm gonna
Joel's
need
so
one more
excited.
hug.
Oh dear God.
Oh, don't hug him with that. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
okay,
He's hugging
so
back.
he's-
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Joel's hands are starting
Oh,
to.
he does.
Okay.
I'm
Ryan, get
I'm
out while
keeping
you
my
can.
hands above board.
Yeah, you are now.
Go,
Go, go,
I'm not
go,
saying
Ryan,
anything
go,
about-
Frag grenade him.
go.
I'm not saying anything about what's going on with my penis right
Go.
now. But I'm going to
Whoa.
keep my hands
Oh,
above
God.
board.
He's checking Ryan's belly button. for
Go,
lint.
Ryan, go, go, Ryan. Free yourself.
How's
Be
the living?
free.
I don't know. You get
Oh,
out.
he doesn't.
That's why we're dancing like 8th graders.
One more hug.
Oh,
One
God.
more hug.
Go, Ryan. Be free.
Steven, it's been a pleasure.
Bye,
It was
Pinky.
never a pleasure with you. Goodbye, dear. Thank you for bringing your
Oh, my
friends.
Lord.
I will attest to that.
Mhm.
She has never had the pleasure.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
Lord.
Okay,
It's
okay,
so
then
long.
look
With the
good.
rest of your
All
show.
right. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Win at pool or
We will.
whatever it is that you guys do. Oh my
And
goodness.
then there were two.
And then there were two. You know what? How much time we got left, girl? We have 16 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
16 minutes. Let's finish out 16 minutes.
Okay.
And let me bring up one more topic.
Okay.
Mattel.
I heard about this today.
Mattel.
Actually, today.
Non-gendered, or I'm sorry, gender neutral?
Gender neutral.
Gender
Right.
neutral dolls.
Yep. They're not
God,
Barbies. They're not Kens. They are non-gendered,
I'm actually.
and they're packed with wigs and other hairdos and mixed gender clothing. Apparently, that's what I had heard today on NPR. So that's the first time I've heard about it. And apparently, Mattel says that this reflects current society, and that they are actually only giving people what they really want, which makes sense, I guess. But apparently, toys that are not aimed at necessarily boys or girls is becoming a thing. And I kind of don't think it's the kids that are making those choices as much as it is the parents who are making the decisions for those kids, probably, if that makes any more sense. I mean, after all, who does the buying?
Okay. First of all, we got a little time. So, David, do you mind if I smoke a cigarette here?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Your house.
Because I'm going to smoke a cigarette.
Your house.
Because I'm going to say something that I'm so angry right now. Just so angry. And let me tell you why I'm so angry.
I don't know what a cigarette has to do with that.
Because I want to be like super angry with
Okay.
the cigarette in my hand.
Okay.
This is why this makes me so angry.
Okay.
One more hit. Where were these dolls when I was growing up? God damn it. Why are these kids getting all this good shit? I wanted a gender neutral doll when I was a kid. I had to play with Barbie
I had
when I
G.I.
was
Joe.
6. When I was 6, and yes, I also had the G.I. Joe action doll, who was the same size as Barbie, but a little bit more bulkier.
I also had the $6 Million Man. Too.
Mhm. Oh,
I had both of those.
I also had. Oh, I had Jamie Summers too.
I didn't
I had a
appreciate
beauty
you.
shop. I don't know what my parents were thinking. They bought me both. They
Mhm.
bought me the motorcycle one, which I loved,
Uh-huh.
but they also bought me Jamie Summers because they knew how much I loved the Bionic Woman when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And my mom bought me the Jamie Summers one with the beauty shop.
See, I didn't get those luxuries, but I made G.I. Joe and Steve and what's his name? Steve. Oh, what was his name?
Oh.
$6 million man. Anyway, I made G.I. Joe and him do things that, they probably didn't know they were doing with each other in real life.
And these kids are getting gender-neutral dolls? Fuck you. I wanted the gender-neutral doll.
Think about it, though. There's gender-neutral. They're growing like, Mommy, how come this one doesn't have a this thing or those things? How do you answer that? Well, because it's not really... I don't even know how to answer that.
Well,
thank God I don't have kids and I wanted to answer.
Well, I love now that the argument about whether something is an action figure or a doll is now settled.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Thank you, Mattel, for settling that argument because you just did.
Yep, that's right.
So I love the fact that and I watched a little video on YouTube where there were two little boys playing with these dolls. And I thought, and by the way, one of the boys was wearing like a pink tutu, and he was a little black child wearing a little pink tutu. And I thought to myself, yes, I like that.
Kudos to his parents for allowing him to do whatever he wants.
I think that children should experience all genders. Yeah. I really do. I think they should have fun with it. They're little kids.
And Megan Fox right now, she's in the news right now because one of her sons chooses to wear a dress to school, and he quit going to school for a while because he quit dressing in dresses because he was being bullied. And then he came back to his old mom and says, I'm wearing a dress again. I don't care what they say. And my heart would have broken. But kudos to Megan Fox for, allowing him to wear whatever he wants to wear or she wants to wear, whatever they want to wear. I think it's awesome.
Because I wanted to wear pajamas to school.
I don't think that's quite
I wanted to wear Spider-Man pajamas to school. But my parents said, no, you can't wear that. You have to wear what the other kids are wearing. And look, they're little kids. Let them wear whatever they want to wear to school.
Right, and I agree with that.
And have a good time and express themselves. It doesn't mean that they're going to be transgendered or any of that stuff. It just means that they're just expressing themselves.
Will Smith's son dresses pretty much whatever he wants, and he's, if I'm not mistaken, the model for
H&M, I think.
Is it H&M?
I think it's H&M.
I can't remember. But I remember, because he basically wears they, I'm not sure how they identify, as wearing whatever they want. And Will Smith and what's her name? Jada
Pinkett, her wife?
Whatever his wife is. Yeah,
Jada Pinkett.
They let the kids wear whatever they wanted to wear and express themselves however they express themselves, and I think that's awesome.
I watch her red diaries or whatever it is on Facebook. This girl is honest about everything. This girl talks about this woman talks about
Jada.
She talks about everything. And I mean, she literally sits down and has she told Will Smith, you need to do something about your drinking. She literally said that on her show. You need to do something about your drinking because it is out of control.
I think I saw him address that too at one of the late night talk shows one time too. Yeah.
She has no problem with saying it like it is, calling it out. And that's what I love about it. I watch it. I don't watch it all the time, but I watch it enough to go, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
I think it's very good. By the way, speaking of which, I brought this up earlier because I wanted to talk about it more in detail. Look, I don't watch award shows that much.
Or the Emmys?
But I watch enough of the red carpet stuff that I usually love what's going on the red carpet because it's usually more exciting than what's going on inside.
Very true, yeah.
I want to talk about three things. First of all, Christina Applegate was tearing it up on the red carpet.
Really
and that was just interviews.
Yeah.
She was tearing it up. And I have been a fan of hers since Married with Children. I loved her in Married with Children.
She's got a new show on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called now.
Dead to Me.
Dead to Me, that's it. She's got a new series on Netflix.
What do you mean? You have been telling me to watch this show for goddamn so long.
I've lost track of all the shows that I'm trying to watch because there's so many of them.
I know.
They get dropped and I have to binge them and catch them when I remember.
But
she's got a really good show on Netflix right now. And
I used to be I watched her when she was on Samantha Who. Oh my God, I loved that show. I was one of the biggest. I really wish that show, I wish Netflix had been around at that time because that show deserved to be on net. It was so funny. It was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And she actually got nominated for that show twice. And she had been nominated for a guest spot on Friends and Jenny McCarthy. Oh, good Lord. Why is this girl?
Train wreck.
Oh, Jenny McCarthy. She's just... I can't understand why Fox decided to put her on the red carpet. This is the most hated woman in America.
She's a train wreck.
This is the most hated woman, anti-vaxxer, who brought up that whole thing on Oprah.
Yeah.
And just turned it into a movement. Now you got all these parents you know what, David, I'm going to be honest. I will not touch a child. I won't go near anybody's child unless I know they're vaccinated.
No.
I don't want to get... Girl, I'm 50 years old. I don't want to get measles at 50 years old.
Girl, don't underage yourself. You're 51.
51. I'm sorry. 51. But I still don't want to get measles or rubella. You know, polio made a comeback. Yeah. Polio made a comeback.
I'm so for all that shit. Measles made a comeback, too.
But polio, one of the diseases that we thought we got rid of once and for all, has made a comeback. And now it made a comeback in Africa because these people were listening to all these anti-vaxxer people.
Yeah.
It has made a comeback. So it's like, oh no.
I remember that it was talk of just not doing the polio vaccine anymore because it was completely gone. I remember that.
And now polio's back.
Yeah, we're back to back.
So I'm not touching nobody's child. I don't want your child near me. I don't want to hold
your child near me anyways. Forget about the vaccination.
With the exception of James and Amanda, you know I love you. And I love your child because your child is fully vaccinated, and thank you for that. But for the most part, I'm not touching your child. I don't know where your child... Your child doesn't have shots?
I'm gay for a reason. I don't want any kids. Want me to hold your baby? Pass.
So that was...
Back to the red carpet. Sorry.
Back to the red carpet. That was...
You two were there.
Oh, my God. She... Not only did she read her, but she also read... what's her name from E! Entertainment News? I don't think she did that on purpose, though. When she was asked if her daughter was going to be watching on E! She goes, "My daughter never watches E! I don't understand why she would be watching E!" I don't think that she
one way to score points there.
I know. I don't think she did that on purpose. I just think that she was just telling an honest. Why would your child be watching E! Entertainment? That's the last place you want your child to be. That's the last television show you...
So you want to talk about, like, what was his name? Billy Ray Porter? Is that his name?
Oh.
Okay, so back up before we talk about what he wore at the Emmys, which, by the way, he was fabulous. But he was in, I want to say the Oscars? That he wore that long white tuxedo dress that just looked fabulous.
It was to die for, girl.
Beautiful. And then what he wore this time with that hat.
Oh my God!
Hat. I was just like, I want that hat.
Can I say this? For the first time in red carpet history, the men were actually not doing too bad on the red carpet when it came to their outfits. Terrence Howard wore a little piece with an ascot that was so cute that I now want to wear an ascot. It was just
trend starting there.
He had this purple vest on with some pants, and he had this little ascot. Now it was a side picture, so I couldn't figure out if it was a full ascot or if it was a tie. But it looked like an ascot from something out of Scooby-Doo. And it was just cute. Another actor who is Sikh wore this amazing outfit with the headdress and everything else, and just beautiful colors. But Billy Porter.
Yeah.
Billy Porter. Oh, my God. That queen, I want that hat.
I want that hat.
I want that hat. That
do that for Halloween.
And he had platforms on, girl. Underneath. And he was just.
And he made history. He was the first openly gay black male to win an Emmy Award. So, congratulations.
For a drama. Congratulations
not sure that he's
to you.
listening to us, but just in case.
Just in case.
Awesome.
Girl, you looked fabulous. You were working it. You were working it.
Yep.
By the way, I also want to. Oh my Lord, if I were to have a child,
oh Lord, look out!
It would have been Zendaya. That green outfit she was wearing was to die for. This bitch knows every red carpet she does. I have watched literally every red carpet of every show. Because, like I said, I'm not going to sit through 3 hours of an award show. They're boring. They're super boring. But the red carpet, oh my God, she came in this green number looking like, oh my God, Poison Ivy from Batman, which was exactly what she based her dress on. When her and her designer were talking, they were like,
right,
Poison Ivy, I like her look. And she comes down the runway at the walk with this red hair, Oh my God, Zendaya,
That's good.
girl, Mama loves you.
So does Joel.
Mama loves you, girl. Mama loves you. She was just rocking it.
She did good.
It was the best time I ever had watching just the red carpet stuff because, like I said, these three women these two women and Mr. Billy Porter, who was, by the way, I want that hat. Where do you buy that hat? I want the hat.
Mm-hmm. I want that hat.
I want to walk down the street in that hat and go, oh, look at him.
Turn some heads. I don't really watch the red carpets too much. I usually watch the award show. But, most of these people there, like Billy Porter won an award. And everybody else, they show screenshots or they show shots of in the audience and everything. So, yeah, there was I did notice that the guys this year were wearing a little more, they're going a little more risque than what they have in the past. Yeah. It's too, I think that it's too comfortable to do the Oscar de la Renta thing. And, it's kind of too comfortable. They try to get out that a little bit. It's 2000s. Do something different. Go out on them. Do something different.
Yeah, because
be bold.
With men on the red carpet, it's always about a tuxedo. They always wear tuxedos.
Yeah, right.
And nobody cares because it's just a tuxedo.
And I think that the traditional women, the traditional gown or the traditional dress that some of the women buy, I think that they wear, that's kind of, I think there's a risque thing going on with that too, which I really admire. I like it. I think it's fantastic. I think it should be, more people should take a chance. Just take a chance.
Yeah, exactly. You know who really impressed me, though? Is James Vanderbeek. His little red number that he did.
He is still hot, too.
He is hot.
Goodness
he is
gracious.
But I saw a picture of him online, and I went, how much makeup are you wearing? You look kind of...
But he's rocking that dad bod, and I just think that's hot. And,
I know. But that little number he was wearing, I went, good for you. Good for you. I'm seeing men on the runway, on the red carpet, I'm sorry, taking a little bit more chances when it comes to what they're wearing. Stephen Canales had this tuxedo with the little drapes on the side. Girl, I was too through. But I'm sorry. You still had nothing on Billy Porter. Billy Porter was really just rocking it. And, oh, Lord. We only have a minute left. But
that's it.
David and I are going to end the show by saying that we had a good time.
We started with 4. We ended with 2. Has that ever happened on your show before? It's a first, huh?
It's a first. It's never ended with just, oh, wow, we ended it with just me and you. But we had a good time.
Right. I think it worked out great.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a really good
lively conversation tonight. I think it's awesome.
So, since we only have 1 minute, let me throw some things in here. 1, please listen to us.
Download the show.
Download the show. Now, if you're still listening to us on iHeartRadio, you know that you're still picking up Joel and Randy's Texas Tea, unfortunately. You're still picking that up, and I've already done the due diligence with iHeartRadio, so it's going to take a little bit of time before the name change happens. Right. Switch it over. But for the most part, that little gay show is on every other media forum, and we're having a good time doing it. If you want to reach us or contact us, you can do it through Spreaker. You can do it through Joel and Randy. I'm sorry. that little gay talk show on Twitter, on Instagram, and that little gay talk show on Facebook. I'm not going to get into the story why I had to call it that, so we're just going to call it that.
Fuck you, Facebook.
So we're going to call it a day. Thank you, David, for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I had a good time.
And we will see you guys next week. We're going to have different hosts, different guests, and we're going to have a good time. We'll see you next week.
Adios. You got to hit the button.
Oh.
Speaky's not here.
I know. I'm sorry.
We'll try this again. Okay. We'll see y'all again next week.
I feel like I had to do it.
We'll sign out again. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all again next week.